Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now as per, so here depends upon our requirement. So just here I need to expose the service as API. So that's I created that API. I created REST API and I created a post operation, and in the assemble I configured invoke policy to invoke that service which I want to expose the API. So as of now, only in the assemble, this is called orchestration in the assemble. So we can create the orchestration. So this is an orchestration. Here I use this invoke policy only at this moment. So for time being, let's make a scenarios and we'll make use of all the important policies which we can see over here. Okay. For timing, that is enough. So now, so design we done. Okay. If you click policy assembly, so here, if you click assembly in the assembly, we done this. So depends upon our requirement. So I designed, my design is completed. I designed my API. But so since we are familiar with the design option and the assemble option, but there is one more option called source. What is this source? Okay, let me show you this source. Okay, so source is nothing but like it is a YAML file. So in the whenever you create any API on any platform, whenever you create any API, that might be SOAP or Rust on any platform, you might create API either in the API Connect, or we can also create in MuleSoft and APZ, or in some other in the whatever platform you might create. So at the end, that API will be exposed in a YAML file. So this is called the OpenAPI specification. This is called OpenAPI specification of our API. So it's similar to like a SOAP web service. So whatever the platform you create, at the end, the SOAP web service will be exposed as a WSDL file, right? In the similar way, so when you create any API, that might be REST or SOAP, and whatever might be the tool, like you create API in the API Current or APZ or MuleSoft or other thing. So at the end, that API will be exposed as a YAML file. Or we can call it as a OpenAPI specification. So whenever you are creating OpenAPI specification, we have some standards, like that is a Swagger standard. So we need to follow the Swagger 2.4. Right now it is 2.4. We need to follow that. So based on your design, based on your assemble policy configuration, so everything will be updated. Everything will be updated in this. Did I create it? No, right? So based on the configuration, it's updated in the source file. Okay, it's updated in a source file. It is called in the extension of the source file is a .yaml, .yaml. Okay. Okay, if you wanted to share this API to somebody else, so simply you can download this file, you can copy this file, and you can share, you can save it in .yaml file, and you can share with other things, so they will import it. I will show you that export import later. First, let's try to understand about this. Did I record it? Yeah, it's recorded. Okay, so first let's try to understand this. Let's try to understand this Swagger 2.0 specification. Okay, so Swagger 2.0, first thing is info. So here, what are the information in the design? You could see that is will be shown under the info. Let's maximize this. So under the info, IBM name. IBM name is nothing but name field. In the design page, you can observe this name, right? So this name field is nothing but IBM name. Okay. So and title. And title is REST API underscore L, and version and description I mentioned, right? Exposing the service as API. And schemes. Schemes is nothing but it is selected as HTTPS, right? HTTPS. Host. See here in the design, what are the option you are saying in the same order, it will show in the YAML file or Swagger 2.0 specification. So host, catalog.host, base path, slash REST API consumes, applications uses, applications are JSON, security definition. So I didn't configure any security definition, so that's why it is showing empty curly braces, right? Which means nothing, empty. Security definition, it is showing empty, and security also it is clear braces, so the which means we didn't configure any security definition. So in the further process, we will see. And IBM configuration. IBM configuration is nothing but the life cycle. What are the option we can see here? Life cycle, the same option we can see here. Testable true, enforce true, cause enable. And now once it is showing the IBM configuration, it will show, it will go to the path. Okay, it will go to the path. See here, I created a path. So my path name is REST service, right? Path name is REST service, and within that path I create the post operation. So that's why the post operation. And here responses, I think I didn't explain the responses. So responses, okay, let me go to the design. So I think I've explained only this parameter, right? This is a post operation. Yeah, see here I explain only this, right? So I create a parameter, but here if you look at the response, so by default, uh, but this API response, so this is for the request, parameters meant for the request, and this is for the response, right? So by default it will create a successful status code, okay, status code 200 and failure. So by default, if you wanted to create other status code like 500 internal server error, 401 unauthorized, right, 400 bad requests, so if you wanted to create them you can create it, but it's not required. Let's go with only the default thing. Okay, so here path is a REST service and it's a post operation. For the response only, that the status code success is 200 is created, right? So that's why it is showing here description 200. Okay, and the parameter, so I created for this particular post operation, I created a parameter, right? The parameter name is request and required I check this, which means it's the true. In is nothing but the located in body, right? Schema type is an object data type, right? So that's why. And here I create a definition I didn't get, and tags I didn't create, so that's why it is showing empty braces. Okay, so this is called the OpenAPI specification or Swagger 2.0 specification. So whatever the platform you create any REST API or SOAP API, so at the end that API will be exposed as a Swagger 2.0. So this is a specification, looks like it. Okay, I hope you clearly understood about it. So now based on our requirement, I designed my API. Based on our requirement, I designed my API. Now what I need to do is I need to test my API, whether I need to test it, whether it is work. I need to check, right, whether it is working as per expectations or not, right? So in order to test it, so the beauty of the API Connect is, so we have an inbuilt testing tool. Okay, the beauty of the API Connect is within that API itself. So in order to test our APIs, we need to have some third-party testing tools like SoapKey or Postman, right? So without using them also, we can test inbuilt. So let me test it. So we have some lot of advantages and sometimes disadvantages as well within the inbuilt test utility, but okay, that is fine. So now let me show you how to test your API from the using within a inbuilt test utility. So here you can go to assemble. Here you can see the test option, right? So click test. Once you click test, it will show you this test page setup. So here, and first you need to change the setup. And here I think you remembered. So whenever I created API product, so at that moment only I published it to sandbox, right? So after that, I made a lot of changes to my API. So right. So in order to impact those changes, I need to republish my API product to the catalog sandbox, right? So that's why here initially I published it to the sandbox. So that's why. So after that, I made few changes to my API product. So that's why I need to republish it. So that's why I choose the catalog sandbox. And here you need to choose the product. So the latest product would be at the bottom of this list. See, it will show you all the products which we created here. So the latest product would be at the bottom of this list. So here, this is our product, right? REST API underscore product 1.0.0, right? So that's why I'm republishing it now. Why I need to republish? So earlier it is published, but after that I made a lot of changes, like I chosen consume, produce, I created opposition paths, right? In order to affect those, so we need to republish our product to the catalog. So that's why I'm republishing it. It is taking some time to republish. Let it take. It's still republishing. You can see the rotate. Yeah, it is done. Click next. The beauty of the inbuilt API Connect testing tool is, see here, based on the API design, it will show you everything. Based on the API design, it will show you everything by default. See here in my API, I created only one operation, which is a REST service, which is a post operation, right? So under the operation, it will show you. So that's the beauty here, using the inbuilt test utility. So here, since they created only one operation, under the operation, it is showing only one thing, which is a post REST service operation. And since I choose for the API, for this API consumes and produces, I've chosen application slash JSON both, right? So that's why here it is showing automatically. Content type is similar to the consumes and the accept is similar to the produces. Content type is similar to the consumes and accept type is similar to the produces. So that's both I've selected as a JSON. Here also it is showing as a JSON. And for this operation, I created a parameter with the name request, right? So that's why here, if you look at here, the parameter name is showing here. So parameter name is showing here. So this parameter located in, I selected as a body, right? So if you click show schema, since show schema, see here, since it is a JSON consumes, since I chosen the consumes a JSON, which means it is expecting the request in the JSON. So if you click show schema, which means we can understand, okay, this is expecting sample JSON message. If you click generate, it will generate one sample message as well. So this is the beauty of the inbuilt test utility. Okay, got it? So based on this API design, everything will be populated automatically over here. Okay, now, so I'm hitting this post operation and I've chosen the content type select type and I'm sending the sample request as now click invoke. Click invoke. See here, we have seen the status code as 200, response time 3185 milliseconds, and these are the response headers. And see the response body, response welcome to API connect, right? So which means whatever request I'm sending here, this is the execution path. So what is the request I'm sending here? So since it is a valid JSON, since the request is a consumes, I kept it as a content type of JSON. So since I send the valid JSON message, the same JSON message the request will come to here in this point orchestration with the same request from using this invoke, using the same request using this invoke. In this invoke, I'm sending the request to the backend, right? So it is going and it is getting the response. So this is the response I configured. This response I configured in my backend, right? Here. This response I configured here, right? It is invoking that URL and it is getting the response. And after the getting the response, I'm not doing any change. So that's why the same response I'm receiving as a here. This is the API consumer response. Right? We got the response from the mock service, which I exposed as a API, right? So this is how you need to test your API from the inbuilt test utility. So there is a debug option. Let me try to show you this debug option. What is meant by this debug? Debug is similar to show probe in the data power. Debug is similar to show probe in the API connect. Sorry, show probe in the data power, and it is similar to debugger in the IAB. I think Raj has joined. So we in the IAB will launch the debugger in order to debug our message flow, right? So it is same as this debug option. So first let me explain you what is the information you can see under the debug option. Okay. So once you click debug, so first it will show you the API information. Your API information, let's try to understand this. Input parameter for this, your API input parameter properties request URL. So this is our API URL. This is our API URL. I will explain you this how the API URL would be later. And this is the organization. So this is the organization. It is showing the API information. Organization, I said you right. So whenever you launch the API current instance in the cloud, so by default, one organization will be created with your email ID. Okay. So this is my email ID, -dev. Okay. This is the development organization. Organization is similar to domains in the data pool. Okay. Environment, sandbox. Environment is nothing but our catalog, right? Catalog is nothing but sandbox. The name of the catalog is SB, sandbox. Okay. For the catalog, it will have a client ID production. So this is now this is an import API. Now it is showing the API details like a base path is REST API, name REST API, type REST API, and version 1.0 and operation REST service plan, default plan. So now here this is the important thing. So in the API information, it will show you the basic details of your API And here, once it is showing the API information, so then it will show you the your policies which you conferred in the assembly. Here, once it completed showing the API information, it will show you what are the policies you completed, you conferred in the assembly. So in the assemble, as of now, I conferred only one policy, which is a invoke. The name of the policy is invoke mock, right? So that's why it is showing. Yeah. Okay. So once it is showing the API information, it will start showing your policies here. So here invoke question mark, right? So here response. It will show you all the details of the execution of this policy. Let's try to understand here. So output, this is output response header. So these are the response header. Okay. And this is a body, response body. First, it will show you the response from this policy. Okay. Output response, and these are the response header, and this is a response body, right? Response we got welcome to API connect and status code 200, okay, right? And input, first it is showing the response output of from this policy, and then after it is showing the input. So what is the input we are sending? See, these are the headers. Okay, client IP. Yeah, this is a body. This is a request body we send to the web service, right? This is a request. This is a request to this invoke policy, right? And this is a endpoint. What is the endpoint we configured here? This is the endpoint we configured in the policy. Name, invoke customer, properties. I've selected a post method right here, HTTP method, and this is the target here. Likewise, it will show you all the details, right? I'm going to backtest. This is how you need to debug. Suppose if there is any error, it will show you that in the debug session. Okay, now this is a happy path I tested, right? So status code 200. Okay, I'm getting the response from the backend which I exposed as API, right? So now let me send some invalid JSON message. Let me remove this colon. Let's try to observe. What is the expected response? So here in my design, consumes as selected as a JSON, which means always your API will be expected some valid JSON message, right? But here I send some invalid JSON message. Always in the JSON message, name and value should be separated with a colon. That colon I removed here. So which means it is an invalid JSON message. Whenever I send invalid JSON message, the status code is 400, which means a bad request, right? Status code is a 400 and input message is bad request. And the more information you can see, the body of the request, which was expected to be JSON, was invalid and it could not be decoded. A valid property value was not found, which means since I sent some invalid JSON message, since the consumes I selected as a JSON, it is always it will expect some valid JSON. So that's why so it is rejected, because we are not sending valid JSON message, we are sending invalid. So if you look at debug now, let's see what is the information it will show here. Debug API information. See here, API information it is showing. The first thing, even the control didn't come to this assembly here, right? Even the control didn't comes to this invoke policy, because it will reject. It will check how the execution done is. First it will check the URL and everything. If it is correct, then it will, since the consumes type as JSON, first it will check the response. It will check the request, sorry, request. If it is a valid JSON message, then the request would be come to this assembly at this point. But here the request is not valid JSON, and the consumes type only, it is rejecting, it is giving an error. See, error 400 bad request, right? So this is how we need to debug it. Okay, so now it is fine. So since I tested this within the inbuilt test utility, so everything is showing automatically. But let's assume that I wanted to test it from the third-party testing tool, like some SOAP-UI, or if you wanted to share this API URL with somebody else. So you need to get the complete URL of your API and its operation which you wanted to test it, right? So in order to get it, we need to follow something. So, but whenever you're testing from the SOAP inbuilt test utility, you don't need to have all the details. By default, it will done everything, right? It will show you the operation and it will show you the required things here. It is done. But whenever I want to test it from the inbuilt test SOAP-UI, I need to have complete URL of my operation, right? So consume type and produce everything I need to get it. So first, how you need to get the complete endpoint of your operation. API is nothing but operation. API contains multiple operations, so you need to test it each and every operation, right? Which means for each operation you need to have a one URL. So as of now in my API it has only one operation, so I need to get the endpoint or URL. So we call it as a URL, or sometimes we refer it as endpoint. So we need to get the complete endpoint of my operation. My operation name is this service, right? So now, so in order to get the complete endpoint of operation, so you need to have catalog endpoint in which you want catalog endpoint, in which you publish your product, API product, then base path plus operation path. Okay, so this is the complete info to get the complete endpoint of a catalog endpoint plus base path plus operation. So here I publish this API in the sandbox catalog, right? So now I need to get the sandbox endpoint catalog, right? So in order to navigate to the sandbox catalog, so we need to navigate to the dashboard, right? So here sandbox data, click on that sandbox catalog, go to settings, here my sandbox name is SB, right? So just now we have seen, yeah. So gateways, here in the if you go to dashboard, click on the catalog, go to settings, and here right side you can see the gateways option. So if you look at here, if it is a gateway, here it will show you the complete endpoint of your catalog. It will show you the complete endpoint of your catalog. Okay, so in one interview I faced one question like, what is the format of the catalog endpoint? Okay, if you look at this catalog endpoint as well, this is a protocol by default. In our catalog, in our API, and everything will be HTTPS, and this is a host. This is a host of our cloud, right? So since we are launching our API, we are using API Connect instance in the cloud. So this is a host of our IBM cloud, right? API manager .eu.gb .api.cloud.ibm.com, right? So this is a host of our cloud, which means the generic URL would be, the generic URL of catalog would be protocol, always it is https://host : so if you look at here, this is my, in which organization I developed my API. This is by default, you might not observe, but when you create instance, at that moment you can observe. So right now I developed this API in which organization? This organization, right? So whenever you launch the API and instance the cloud, by default one organization will be created with your email ID -dev, right? Email ID -dev, which means here org name slash, this is my catalog name, right? Name, just now I've shown you, right? SB, sandbox SB name. In the name field we observe this SB catalog. So in one of the interview I faced this question. So what are the things you can observe in the catalog endpoint? In the catalog endpoint, just remember protocol, always it is https:// host, your host, okay, slash organization name slash that catalog name. Though this is the, just try to remember it, okay? So now I got the catalog endpoint. So let me keep as is. Now I got the catalog endpoint. Now I need to get the base path, right? So go to here. Again I need to, in order to switch to API, go to drafts, go to API, okay, search for your API, REST API, search for your API here, _L, right? Yeah, this is the one. So 23 minutes ago, this is my API name. So now go to base path, and this is the base path of my API. This is a base path of my API. Now operation, right? The next thing is operation. So this is operation. Now this is the complete endpoint of my API operation. Now this is a complete endpoint of my API operation. Copy this. Now I wanted to test it from the SOAP-AI. Okay, copy this, and this is the SOAP-AI project. I will share you this SOAP-AI project for the data for advanced training. So I'll share you this in today. So similarly, I'm creating the same for the API account. Okay. So here, right click on this project name and new REST service from URL. Paste that URL. Click OK. And what is the operation here? This is a post operation, right? So choose the method as post. And here the media type, the content type is consumes, we created a JSON. So the media type should be content type is similar to media type for consume. So that's why I chosen JSON. So this is also valid JSON message. So I'm sending this. See, response, welcome to API account, right? Status code 200, and these are the response headers. Response headers, it will show you content type, these all are the response header. Okay, this is the response body. See, I'm getting this response right from the backend. So what we did, so we created one REST web service here. We expose this REST web service as the API in the API account, right? And we are testing. Whenever hitting this API, it is going to the backend, and from the backend, I'm getting the response back to this API, and the API response I'm getting here. Okay, I hope you clearly understood about this scenario. So I wanted to close the session for today, and if you are still interested, let me explain one more concept as well. Get. So is it clear? As of now, it's clear, right? So how do we expose one REST service as a REST API in the API current? And while creating the REST API, what are the important things we need to consider? And what is the path? What are the operation? And what is the assembly? What is the source file? And what is the complete endpoint of URL? So how do we get the endpoint of sandbox catalog? So I think you clearly understood about this all what I explained here, right? If you have any question, please let's discuss. If you're okay, let me go to the next topic. Hello, it's clear, right? Okay, let me jump. Hello, I think you
Yeah,
all are.
Raj.
Yeah.
From
Okay,
my
let's
side.
go to the next
Yeah,
topic.
sure.
Yeah, let me go to the next topic. Okay. So just now what we did, so we exposed, this is the REST web service. So this is a post method. So we expose the REST service of post method as a REST API in the API account, right? Suppose now let's try to have REST service, backend REST service of get method. Okay. So for that, I have one real-time working example. Let me try to get that URL. Go to training, API connect training, artifacts. Yeah, APIC info. Yeah. So this is a working example. So this is a, okay, let me try to test this one. Okay. So since it's a get method, it will work in the browser, right? Get method will work in the browser. Yeah. See here, if you look at here, see this is one working example. Let me move this zoom. Okay. So if you observe this web service, this is also REST web service of get method. Look at here, the URL. So this is a web service which will show you the weather provider details. Weather provider details. So this is a web service which will give you a weather details. Okay, weather provider details. Okay. So if you and this is also observed, this is a static. This web service also, it will give you always the static response. In this route, it will work only for this particular, whatever the zip code you send, but it will send you the sample response for the same zip code. Okay, this is a US zip code, right? 5 digits. Okay, so this is a web service which will provide you the today weather details. So since it is a get method, so when I test in the browser, it is giving all the web service, all the weather details, right? Let me copy here. Just to it, I'm getting one more call. Yeah, sorry. So let's discuss this tomorrow because I mean there is some work is going on. I kept car outside, so again they are asking to keep aside. So okay, let's discuss this topic tomorrow. So today only okay. Let me summarize what we discussed today. Today we exposed. Let me make a note here. Expose REST service. REST service as REST API in APIC and tested from inbuilt. I've explained about inbuilt test today. Inbuilt APIC test utility and SOAP. Okay, but tomorrow let's discuss about the get method. Okay, so for today it's enough. Yeah, again I need to go out. It will take some time. I think this meeting also will end soon. We'll discuss about the topic tomorrow. So I will once I will share. I think yesterday I didn't share this. Yesterday videos I didn't share with you. Today I'll share yesterday and today's videos as well. Okay, thank you. I'm closing this meeting now.